안녕하세요. This is the only Korean I'll be using today. Thank you very much for your time, and today I would like to share with everyone here around mobile security. As the title suggests, we have this device in our pocket. It's actually the most important device that you have today. But at the same time, it's actually also the most vulnerable device. My name is Pat, and I work for Zimperium. And our company was started back in 2010. The focus of our technology is to implement machine learning to protect mobile devices. I would like to share with you some of the information we are learning, as well as all the things that could be interesting for everyone here. So let me begin the presentation. Okay, so I think from consumer, from the enterprise side, you would agree that we are using mobile devices more and more. The mobile devices contains not only our personal information, but it also has email to your company system. Maybe it has application, documents, customer information. And the question I have for everyone here is, how are you protecting the device today? Now, we can see on the first graph on the left, the mobile browsing on the internet actually last year overtook the desktop computer. On the right-hand side, CVEs, right, a measurement of vulnerability on the mobile operating system. You can see the last 3 years, the number has increased dramatically. And in fact, the Zimperium research team actually contribute to many of these research and finding to improve the mobile security. So, really the picture tells us that mobile devices are important. We're using it more and more. At the same time, the security on the device is actually not very secure. Okay, so over the last 5 years, where we had the Zimperium solution, we collected many data points from the mobile devices. And this is a map of Seoul, and you can see every single red dot that you see here represent attack that we detected and we notified the user. So in fact, on the application that we have here, if you turn on the phone, you'll be able to see all the free Wi-Fi, all the Wi-Fi network that is not secure and that has been attacked in the past. Most people, most customers and seminars that I present, people tell me mobile is actually safe because I don't get attacked. But the important question you should ask is, if you are being attacked today, how would you know? You can't, because you don't have visibility. Okay, so I know this is a very busy slide, but the summary of what we're trying to show here is that mobile devices can be attacked in many different ways, just like your computer. It's a laser pointer, I think is it. So we summarize that into device, network, and application. DNA. So from the bottom here, we have seen attack using USB charger at the airport or conferences like this. Your phone is running low, you charge, the attacker takes information out of your phone. You don't even know. 4G and Wi-Fi are very insecure, as you know. As a hacker, we can actually intercept the traffic using man-in-the-middle attack and other techniques. So now up to the user. User can actually download a document, visit a website. There are many things that user can do on the mobile phone. Those are actually a possible way for attacker to actually get into the device. We have seen example of an iMessage. A picture sent to a user contains malicious code that can attack the iOS device or Android. Okay, so on the top left-hand side, you can see apps, right? Most people actually, first question they ask me is that I have antivirus. There's many free antivirus vaccine available. You know, why do I need mobile security? For me, that is mobile security. But in fact, you can see antivirus is only one of the many ways the attacker can attack the device. Okay, so now let's go have a look at SMS and MMS. So in 2015, the Imperial research team actually discovered a stage fright vulnerability. So at the time, it impacted 95% of the Android mobile phone. The way the attack can actually be triggered, activated, is using an MMS message. So I can send you a message when you are sleeping. You wake up, the message is already disappeared. The attacker can remote control your phone. If you're interested, there is actually a lot of video and resources you can find on the internet around stage fright. When we discovered this, Google actually worked very closely with us. They introduced the monthly security update that you have today on the Android platform. Because they realize updating every 7 months, every time a new version comes out, is not enough anymore. Okay, ultimately, the attacker wants to get to the operating system, just like your computer, right? Once I get to the operating system, I execute malicious code and take control. I'll be able to read your SMS, look at your picture, send information without the user even knowing. Okay, so pretty scary, right? And by the way, if you're interested in seeing a demonstration of this, please feel free to come to the N-Secure booth. We'll be happy to show you that. Okay, so let's answer a very important question. Is mobile antivirus enough? And before I answer this question, I think most of you guys probably know the answer. On your laptop, you have antivirus. You have, some sort of a security solution on IPS. You have email gateway, right? Filters your email traffic. Firewall. There's many layers that security team put together to protect the company. But what about on your mobile devices? You take the mobile devices into the office, it's very safe, right? Because many layers of security. I take this mobile device outside to a coffee shop. I can get attacked and compromised. I come back to the office. The information now becomes a backdoor to my company. So antivirus on mobile actually is not enough. And why? Why is that? Because we actually have information. There is a dirty cow exploit that was on Android that was able to use a race condition in the operating system. It's actually a Linux vulnerability. The identification of this vulnerability was found around 2015. But already 1,200 application contains dirty cow, and it's already on the Google Play Store. So Why is that a problem? Because the signature has not been detected by anyone. So we do not know. The antivirus do not know. It's actually a bad application that needs to be deleted. So you're too slow because you're always waiting for someone to find the signature. Next example. There is a research company called Scilabs. They found last few years there's many banking malware and Trojan targeting at the retail customer. In the dark web, all you have to do is spend $500 as a service. They will create an application that looks identical like a bank, maybe a KB Bank here, a Hana Bank. They will create a fake app. They will put it on the App Store that allow people to download, and then they will attack the device and gather information. It's very sophisticated, and it only costs $500 US. And we found many instances of this type of attack on mobile. And think about the scenario. We all have username, password, but for banking we have 2FA, right? OTP. So even if I get your username, password, it's not good enough. But if the hacker is sitting on the phone, the SMS that comes in as OTP, the hacker will get that too. So it's not secure after all. So we are also seeing the same type of malware for banking, stealing money, being downloaded 6 to 21 million times. Yeah, so the signature approach really is not enough. Okay, another example, I think very important point, security professionals always educate everyone. Education is important because we are the weakest link. But please tell me, there is an application on the right hand side called BBC News. There's two applications. Which one is real? Which one is fake? It's very difficult, right? Even I think I cannot teach you how to tell is real or not because they look identical. And on the left hand side, we have an app that's in the Google Play Store. But it turns out to be a malware later. So really the point I'm trying to highlight here is that teaching user is important, the knowledge is important, but for very tricky and difficult attack, sophisticated, you need machine to help you. You need solution that's a little bit more intelligent. And by the way, our solution actually detected the right-hand side BBC app was a fake one, and we were able to inform our customer, and they removed the app immediately. And it's a zero-day malware that has not been detected or show up in any of the signatures. Okay, so let's summarize some of the information we learned. In 2007, right, last year, Google and Apple have released, every time they do an update, I don't know, I think no one cared, right, to read why iOS 11, 11.1, 11.1.2, 11.3. They are released because of security updates. And the Imperial research team, we actually contributed to 3 updates last year. Because we found CVEs that were very critical, and they needs to be fixed. Okay, second point. While we're working very hard to find and fix the bug, 60% of the mobile user do not run the latest version of the operating system. A lot lot of the user actually don't want to upgrade. I was talking to the translator earlier. She says, I'm the one. I don't want to upgrade because it slowed down my phone. Maybe I lose information. Maybe it's, no, I don't have time for that. So even, we have solutions out there, updating and patching. User doesn't always do it. So the example I give is like you have a house, you have locks, but you're leaving it open, the window open. And you say, I'm secure because my front door is locked. Okay, 10% of our devices running our software actually detect a man-in-the-middle attack. This is targeted attack and it's quite scary. And I was running a breakfast seminar this week. One of the exec manager asked me, man-in-the-middle attack, that's very sophisticated, very difficult, very hard to do. I told him that's not the case. There's so many empty open source software out there. Any university student or even high school student with a computer, with a Wi-Fi access point, they can do this attack. Again, your device will not know that you're being attacked. Last point, so malware, right? So we talk a lot about it. And in fact, Gartner actually tells us that by next year, 2019, 30%, 1/3 of the mobile malware will take the overall malware. Okay, so a lot of the customer next ask me, right? So okay, you share something very interesting, but show me some real example of attacks. Of course, every day we hear, attack, this kind of bad news, but I'm just picking two. One is the example of a Russian army. They were found to be hacking the NATO troops. And the technique was actually using one of the rogue access point called Pineapple, or similar to Pineapple. They put that onto the drone, and they fly the drone over to the top of where the army uses my mobile phone. And they were able to pick up the website the army is going to, their username, password, their system, their information. And what does the attacker do? They can then provide the next level of attack and target it at the mobile. The next one, I think we are very aware. North Korea is famous for this type of hacking, and it's been discovered, very sophisticated, on the desktop, on mobile, focusing on cryptocurrency, even on mobile too. So of course, this is happening in the country-to-country level. But my question to you is that, do you think it's not happening in our everyday life, or company to company? Again, I think the problem is that you do not see, no visibility, because there's no malware on my phone. My AV says my phone is clean. Okay, so I wanted to summarize the mobile threats into 4 different areas. So from the right-hand side is the less sophisticated. The left-hand side is the most sophisticated and targeted. So we'll talk about apps, right? So we mentioned about malware. But the bigger problem that we are facing today is actually something called leaky application. And leaky application was famous last year, actually. When we found out that Facebook was actually saving every single phone call and SMS messages in the cloud. Now think about all the mobile application you have on your phone right now. when you install the mobile app, it will ask you, do you want to give GPS location, SD card access, reading SMS, contact, phone book? And most of the user, like me, we say yes, 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 I just want to play the game. But you have no idea what the application is doing with those information. We have seen example from our customer, a malicious, a leaky application have access to the calendar of the user. And the next thing you know is someone else knows which schedule and where he's going because of the app leaking the data. So as a problem, we need to know as a user what application is doing to those information that we have. Company needs to know what information are being leaked without user knowing. Okay, so as we move to phishing, right? So phishing is a very common problem. It's being around, it's not just unique to mobile. And it's very, very difficult to train human or people. And I believe the solution there is really educating. And one of the reasons I talk about phishing here is that one of the most well-known iOS exploits was actually discovered in 2016 called Pegasus. And Pegasus was actually a phishing link that the hacker targeted at a particular activist. And using, if the user click on that link on his iPhone, he do not have to do anything because the iPhone will go to the page, the malicious JavaScript would have executed and install a remote surveillance software on the iPhone. Basically remote root and jailbreak the device. So this is an extent of another real example that has been found. Okay, network attack. So I think this is something you are all very familiar with. It's very difficult to protect yourself again. Even if I'm connecting to the COS conference or Wi-Fi, there's a chance that this gentleman over here set up a fake one in his bag. So there are, again, invisible. And why is it important for us? Because for network attack, you do not have to install any single application. It's the easiest way for the hacker. The hacker just have to make you connect. And how can I do that? I'll create a fake Wi-Fi. I will disconnect you from the current Wi-Fi. You automatically connect back to the fake one, believe it or not. Because the stronger it's closer to you, it has a better signal. And silently and without you even knowing, it's invisibly knowing which website you're going, banking password, etc. Okay, and the device attack is basically all those CVEs you saw earlier, right? Every year is increasing. Of course, not all the CVEs are exploitable, but the good hacker actually can find ways to install those malicious code onto your device using PDF file, JavaScript on the web page, MMS messages, everything that we saw earlier. So it's very important to share with everyone that application or antivirus is a very small part of the big problem. And And if I really want to attack a company, right, let's maybe pick a very famous company here. I shouldn't pick any company, actually. I just pick a very famous company. If I want to attack the company, which method would I use? I will not create a malware, put it on the App Store and Play Store, and hope that you will go and download so I can attack you. So a good hacker actually will use a combination of everything here. You will work out where your office is, where does the important people go have coffee. They will go near them. They will use a combination of phishing, network attack. Ultimately, get to the device. Okay, so some more examples, but more visually. This user is actually on a public network or Wi-Fi. He is going to try to buy a present for his wife on Amazon. Even though the website is actually secure with the SSL, the hacker on the left can still see the username and password. And I believe many of you guys are familiar with many techniques. I can downgrade the security, TLS. I can SSL strip the communication. I can generate a fake SSL certificate to decrypt the traffic. And this can happen in real time. So the example here is that when the hacker control your network, you cannot believe what you are seeing because it can be a banking website, but it's actually not real. It's fake. It's created by the hacker. Okay, so now I have a video to share with you that combines some of the technique that we've used that we can demonstrate to you. And the best way to demonstrate this is actually do this on iOS, because most people have a perception that iOS is safe. It is actually safer. But I don't use iOS, I use Android. Because Google actually is now secure. Every month I get update. iOS, every time they find problem, they update. Okay, so let me play that and I'll give you the story. So before I play the video, it's about 2 minutes. iPad on the right hand side is connecting to a public Wi-Fi using that information, accessing. The hacker is on the same Wi-Fi. It intercepts the traffic on the Apple device. And then what it does is that it hijacks the traffic and then executes some malicious code so that it can control the device ultimately. So let's have a look. This little tool here, BetaCap, you can actually download it. It's open source. You can actually do this attack, at least half of the attack. You can see now the attack have set up. The user have no idea, right? The attacks happened. He's going to msn.com. Oh wow, the hacker can actually see, even without looking at your screen, I know you're going to MSN, you're accessing certain website. Okay, now this particular website, actually the hacker inject a JavaScript. And the JavaScript actually would attack the operating system because there's a vulnerability in his OS. 0 day or even maybe pick already patched, doesn't matter. Attack will get through. And you can see on the top, the hacker now is having a telnet connection to the iPad remotely. And more importantly, did you see the user ID? The hacker is connected as root. And we know on any operating system, when you're root, you basically control everything. Remember on Apple, on iOS, you cannot see what application is installed on the iOS device. Now I can. I can actually go and basically look at it. Now, the hacker opens up another screen. Now it has a list of functions that you can do. It now do a keychain. So Wi-Fi password is now being displayed on the screen. The user then download the phone book contact information. Again, I'm root, I can do everything. The user now go to open up an application, checking the weather. The hacker can actually take a screenshot of what the user is looking at. So think about you're working on a very important company email. You're talking about certain information about buying a company, new design, mobile phone, etc. Business deal. This information is being observed in real time by the hacker. And everything else from here is your imagination. Anything you think can happen will happen. And we have seen that happen in the past. Okay. So I think that's it. And this demonstration we can actually show you on the real devices. Okay. So now I want to cover another topic because Korea is actually very advanced. In my working in Asia Pacific, I speak to many customers from Japan all the way down to Australia, sometimes India. Many of the security professional tells me, okay, I understand, maybe the problem, but my application is very, very secure because I will encrypt the communication. So my application to the server is encrypted. I can encrypt the information on the disk on the mobile device. Again, very secure. I can encrypt everything in memory. So these are all the best practice. I can obfuscate the code. I use secure API best information. But the hacker, the example that we showed earlier, if the hacker get onto the phone as root user, everything else is not important. Because I can get into the sandbox of your app. In your sandbox, there's probably encryption keys in there. There will be application caches. We have seen banking application leaving caches everywhere. The attacker can learn about that information, and it's really just a matter of time. Because remember, your application is on the hacker's hand 24/7. It's not on the server, right? The hacker have access to this, reverse and compromise and attack the device. And the example we're showing here is that it's a very secure application called Telegram, right? So they implement the best practice. But the hacker's root, they were able to go to the memory and essentially extract or do a dump of what's in the memory, but not the encrypted part. It's the part that your screen is actually displaying. The screen buffer is not encrypted because for me to see my message, I have to see it in clear text. So the hacker will go there and get the information so they can bypass the security that you implement. Okay, so I will need to move on. I think I just have 5 minutes. So I've shared a lot of use cases, problems that device can be attacked. Let's talk about the solution because I want you to feel better after you leave the talk today, not feel scared. You should be scared, but I think there's a solution for you. So there's 2 parts of the solution. The first part is we talk about visibility. You need to have visibility. And you need to have visibility by implementing a monitoring an engine that runs on the mobile phone all the time. And regardless how the information are attacking the device, regardless whether it's Bluetooth, PDF, Wi-Fi, JavaScript, etc. So we do this by using machine learning. So in 2010, when we started the company, our founder actually was working for Samsung. He was doing the research around fridge, mobile devices, air conditioning, around the ARM processors. And he actually found it's very easy to actually attack the ARM processor and the application runtime. And he started the company so that he can provide a solution to protect. So we created many devices in our research lab. We attack the device using all the different techniques that our research knows. Man-in-the-middle attack, we install malicious app, we run exploits, we attack the memory, etc. When the attack takes place, we capture the information on the mobile devices, CPU, memory, I/O stats, net stats. All the system kernel data, we actually put that through a machine learning training. So that when the attack happens, we do not need to know the signature, because we will be able to understand and see the behavior changes on the mobile devices. A simple way to explain this is that we are human, right? We get sick. We feel sore throat, right? When we drink too much soju, we have headache. Your body have a sensor, but your mobile phone doesn't, right? When the man-in-the-middle happens, he's still very happy. You want me to go to this website, you want me to download this, I will do it. You want my password, here you go. There's no sensor, there's no detection. So we basically give the engine, the Z9, on the mobile devices that so it can actually aware what happened. So when someone attack me, I'm teaching my mobile phone that this is not good. This is an attack. So today, I'm using this, right? I can be using a new device to attack me. But the feeling is the same, right? It's still a tap on my shoulder. So that is bad, and that's how our machine learning engine works. In a very simple way, of course. So to protect you, we actually have two solutions. One is using our intrusion protection software. It's called Zips. And you can see here it's a mobile application you can download from the App Store and Play Store. And we're working with Unsecure in Korea to bring the technology to the enterprise customers. It's always on. It uses very little consumption of power, maybe 1% over 24 hours. It watches the behavior anomaly, and we have detected last 3 years all the zero-day exploits and vulnerability that have been published, the engine, without updating the engine. And we will provide support for Android and iOS. Okay. Another example, because we have such a good engine, we can give the engine as an SDK to mobile applications. So what we can also do is that we can embed the engine so that when attack happens, we will tell the banking application, the insurance application, the shopping application that the device is being attacked. So the application can then take action. So very big news, right? I think Koreans are very advanced in the digital currency, cryptocurrency. So we use a crypto example. A Bitcoin wallet, right? You set it up, you put some money, you buy some money because the price is actually very low, so it's a good time to buy. And then you get a phishing link to go to a website which attack you. All this is happening on your mobile phone, but the app have our engine. We detected the threat, and then we can immediately delete the wallet, the private keys on your phone, to protect you from losing those information. So that's a way of using the SDK to protect from real-time attack. The same idea that we talked about. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to just finish the solution overview. So we have the engine, the mobile application, the SDK. We have a console that can be hosted in the cloud, as well as on-premise in your banking environment, in your government, data center. And we have many banking and government customers around the world. And if your company have MDM solution, and I understand Korea is a very different market, there's local MDMs. We are working with a major MDMs company now to add our engine to protect the overall mobile devices. And last, all the information that we collect can be put into the SIEM to complete your overall security monitoring action life cycle. Okay, so I think I'm over time, but I hope that was an interesting talk. Thank you very much for your time.
네, 감사합니다. 혹시 현재 계신 분들 중에서 질문 있으신 분은 한 분만 받도록 하겠습니다. 혹시 계신 분은 손 들어주시기 바랍니다. 네, 그럼 질문이 없으신 것 같은데요.